the future income of that person, the potential of those young men, and if they had the opportunity, they could basically support their families. They could support their parents and their kids and other things. And that's really what we have to move to. One of the things that I was amazed at was when Detective Suter was shot. He actually was primary investigator on 12 different murders. I don't know how you could possibly investigate 12 murders and be successful at it. I have a hard time doing 2 things at once, let alone 12. And when you look at that, we hope that by deterring the murders, by deterring the shootings, by helping solve those quicker, by hopefully providing justice to one side before they feel they need to go shoot the other side in retaliation, that we can help clean up a lot of that. And that's really, there's so many things that we are just frustrated that we're not back here helping because we sit here and watch it. Every time I come back here, I got to update our slides, and the one that I absolutely hate is the current murder statistics. 177 so far this year, and we're only on the 10th of August. So if we hit 200 murders by the end of August, maybe the first week in September, that's not a good sign.
It's not at all.
And that will make sure that Baltimore is back in the headlines again. Right now, we get a
That's
little
the
pressure.
worst city.
We get a little pressure taken off because, to be honest with you, the national media can't add. And they don't see that Baltimore has actually got twice the murder rate as Chicago, but they will at the end of the year when we start hitting 200 and start hitting 300 again.
Like it's a competition.
There was a huge effort last year to get, there was a lot of attention paid when we were at 300 murders last year because the media was looking at that. Well, we don't want to wait until we hit 300 murders again.
Not at all.
We want people to know that this is available now, that we could be back here quickly, that we're going to train up people. You asked about jobs from the community. We actually train up people. We're working with people like George Mitchell and the Cyber Rangers. And the neat thing is that the skill sets that we need to start with, believe it or not, is the ability to play first-person shooter video games. And it turns out there's a whole lot of young black men in the community here who are really good at playing video games. And we'd like to bring them in. We teach them everything we need to know. We teach them how to use our software. We teach them how to build PowerPoint briefings. We teach them how to communicate. We
How
teach
much
them
is it going to cost them, Ross?
It is absolutely free, and we actually pay for them for the training. And oh, by the way, the other thing is I've trained up hundreds and hundreds of these analysts over the years, and I lose most of them to the Department of Defense analyst jobs. I pay 15 to 20 bucks an hour. They pay 70 to 80 to 90 to $100,000 a year. That becomes a career for these. And there's 26,000 of these jobs in the area. But you can't get those jobs if you don't have the experience. You can't get the experience if you don't have the job. So we become a stepping stone in that process.
Now let me ask you this, not to cut you
Let
off.
me put this number out there. If you have any questions for the doc or myself, the number is 410-481-1010. Like, I know we just having a discussion, but you're welcome to call in at any given time.
Now, do you have to have permission from the city to go forth with your program?
We want permission from the city. So we've asked, be honest with you, Archie has briefed the mayors several times. We briefed a vast majority of the city council. Everyone we've met says they're in favor of it. And right now, to be honest with you, it appears we're stuck between the mayor's office asking the city council to bring it forward.
That's what I'm
And
trying
the
to
city council says they're happy to stand behind the mayor when she announces it.
Now,
And that's where we've been for 6 months.
is it the reason, Archie? Sorry for that. Is it the reason why that you want it from the community because the last time the police boarded in and didn't let the citizens know? That's some of the reasons.
That's the whole reason.
Oh,
Ain't
my
some
goodness.
of it.
That's
That's
the
the
whole
whole
reason.
reason.
Now, if the police would let us know that a plane was circling like they supposed to, and it wouldn't be no problem to get it from the community.
We had set aside 2 months to brief it prior to starting.
Because 2/3 of the program, what it wants to do, not lock people up, but deter people from doing something stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing your mother and father should be doing.
Right. That's what I heard coming in. Let me say this. Oh God, I hate that. Go ahead.
Go ahead, I stole your thunder.
No, I
He had
had
a brain fart.
I was gonna say that's what happened when you turn over 50.
So
Hey,
listen,
I'm right there with you.
we're going to be having a presentation at 3 South Frederick Street tonight at 6 p.m. All you organizational leaders, I've filled your emails up. I've literally contacted you, via phone. But listen to me, now I'm contacting you on the airways if you hear me. 6 p.m., 3 South Frederick Street. If you're really interested in trying to save the city, then man, come to this presentation.
Sweet
Free food. You got free food. Hey, we got a little bar too, we got a little bar, we got free food. All I'm asking for you is to bring yourself.
What you got for the people that can't drink?
We can get non-alcoholic beverages.
You ain't Diet Pepsi's in there.
What do we got?
Talking
We
about
got
free
a lot.
bar. Come on,
Nah. Don't tell people that.
No,
You have people come in lines
Yeah.
around the corner.
yeah, please do though.
so by me having my guests in the building, man, I just want my guests just to, from what they have seen thus far, they haven't, had the full presentation because the doc has just came in the city, but from what they have seen thus far, how do they feel about the program? So I'm gonna let them explain how they feel about the program. Whoever wants to start.
Well, I'll just say this, for whatever pro and cons, when you're making a decision, you look at the worst case scenario and the best case scenario with something like this. And I believe that the best of what can happen far outweigh where the city has been.
Yeah.
And so it shouldn't be a big
It's a no-brainer.
right. And this is why me coming into being a community activist, but also coming into office, I'm just like, what's going on? Why are people not connected to what's going on?
And I admire
like
this brother right here. I admire him.
Thank you.
I can't-
And I'm just
I
like,
admire him.
and I'm looking. I'm like, what are people doing? And I have elected officials, that I respect. I know they doing what they do, but I'm just like, you got to have a bigger picture of this. You just walking around like you said, helping little children and things like that.
Yeah, just doing something to say I did something.
Right. So this is where I'm just asking, for those officials, city representatives, as well as community organizations to advocate, for this and to call and find out who your council person is, 4103-96-3100, and ask your council person, where are they on this? And can they talk to Mr. Scott, of course, and once the hearing, and you have a date for that? No? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we can begin to, take a look, take a look at what can potentially happen.
So
And that's all, and that's a fair and honest assessment.
Absolutely.
That what can happen for the city. So that's where I am.
So we have a caller, Brother Charles. Brother Charles, you on?
Blue.
All right. Well, I gotta say again that I'm not for this program, and the reason why I'm not for this program is we've never had a program that has been what has been presented. Every program that we've got, whether it's for law enforcement, for fighting crime, for getting jobs, for getting money, whatever type of program, it's always been hijacked and it's been morphed. So I don't see anything that says concretely what the program is about. I see the program is something that will be able to expand and expand and expand and expand. So it's like,
Well, I will tell you that what we get is we would basically negotiate out a contract between us and the city that says which type of crimes we're allowed to look at. And what that does is that allows my analyst, if an officer were to ask anything outside of it, to be able to say, no, our contract says this. Every track we ever make has to be associated with one of those major investigations. Every place our analysts have ever looked is reviewable, And we've briefed the national ACLU, and we've tried to brief the state level ACLU. David Roca won't return any calls from us and won't take a briefing because if he knows what we're actually about, then he can't say what he says. But we're happy to have the oversight committee that's been put together be there. We've offered to have the ACLU put someone in our office that watches over what
So
we do.
we're not hiding anything, my friend.
We want to be absolutely open as possible.
I'm saying that doesn't give us any assurances. What y'all are saying is what we've always heard with the lottery, with all these different
That's a total different thing.
Okay,
That's
so
totally
so listen to me, my friend.
things. Y'all are presenting
No, it's not the same thing. That's not the same
Hey,
thing.
Archie, can I say this?
People are
No,
just
no.
pessimistic.
One thing that I'm tired of doing. I'm tired of hearing my people speak without being educated. Like, would you say you have seen? You have not seen, my friend, because if you had seen it, then you would not be saying the things that you're saying now. And that, he's been dropped. But understand this. I'm not.
I think his concern is actually real, where someone comes in and says we're going to do this, and then they end up doing something different.
Right.
And I will tell you that if that became an issue, basically our contract wouldn't be renewed.
It'd be
And
lawsuits
we
up the
would be
wazoo.
sent off.
Can I say this? My biggest fear when I heard that program, about this program and how it, I'm gonna just say spy on people. I was thinking, thank God I ain't cheating no more because that thing would tell on me, and that's what
but
I'm
that's
just
not-
using that as an
right,
example.
right,
I'm
but-
just playing, but no,
That's not. It's not like that.
I know.
There's not a system that's out here just spying on
know.
Baltimoreans just because we can.
Yeah.
The moment you pick that pistol up,
Right.
that's what
Thanks,
I'm concerned
Archie.
about. I don't
Thanks.
care about you going to your girlfriend
Right.
or your baby mother house or however. When you pick that gun up and you eradicating a brother that look like yourself and your own people not saying, hold up, stop for a minute. Archie saying that. You feel what I'm saying?
and then when you know who did it, and ain't telling. Come on.
No,
No,
that's not going to happen because you know the street justice law. I'm not telling because of. But this system, you ain't got to say a word.
Now,
That's all he explained.
Now, actually, in response to the last caller, that's one of the things that people often will say, well, what about all these other potential really bad things that could possibly happen in the future? And they build those up to the point where they don't actually realize the real benefits that will come from it. And when you start talking about 70 to 100 people not being murdered,
Wow.
almost 1,000 not being
Wow.
shot each year because of a 20 to 30% reduction in crime, then you start building on that, and those are real likely outcomes. And you know, we get people to put up arguments like, you fly drones kill people, therefore you kill people. We don't fly drones, we don't kill people. We are not going to follow a gay politician to a gay bar. Nobody cares.
Y'all not? Oh, I'm sorry.
Nobody cares,
Nobody
and we're not going to commit a felony to do that sort of stuff, because to be honest with you, our reputation really matters, because our goal is to help Baltimore reduce its crime rate, become seen as a turnaround city, bring the jobs back in the city, get the house prices to come up, get people to invest back in the city and make it better.
Right.
Because that's the best thing that could possibly happen for us, because then Chicago and Phoenix and all these other places are going to be knocking down the door, because Baltimore will have paved the way. What we're looking for is a few profiles in courage that are willing to take that risk,
Right.
to step out and say, we want to do everything we possibly can to help the city of Baltimore. And yes, this is a little bit novel, but I will tell you it helped a lot in Fallujah. It helped a whole lot in Afghanistan, helping solve the IED
Wow, I'm
problem.
glad you said that
It
again.
brings that there. And we just looked at this and said, this is too important. There are too many people being killed in our inner cities, and this can just help improve the cities and the families in the community.
Well, we got 2 minutes. Y'all want to just wrap it up and tell them about the new show coming, what date and time, so people can transfer it? We got
So
2
listen,
minutes.
I'm not trying to steal my man Larry's.
Go ahead, man.
But listen, as of next week, Archie Williams will be on his own show, doing his own thing. You know, I appreciate all the support from my man Larry,
You got it.
Flowers,
What date and
and
time?
everybody on Thursday at 4 o'clock. Right, 4 o'clock on Thursday. It's gonna be called "Speak Your Mind" with
4 to
Archie
5.
Williams.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's
going
I
down.
It's gonna be off the
Listen
chain.
to me, it's gonna
I
be
think it's gonna be off the chain.
"Speak Your Mind" with Archie Williams, man. This keep the cuss words to a minimum. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how we get to speaking our minds and we let the thunder off.
And let's put everybody's
cut-off
numbers up
button
and,
there. So,
and information out.
So also today we're gonna be holding the doc. I ain't gonna be holding nothing. The doc is gonna be giving the presentation for you, Charles. For people like you, if you really true about what you're saying, Charles,
Yeah.
you come to 3 South Frederick Street.
Show up.
I'll be there.
For floor 8, suite 803. So come and see about the program that you so called against, Charles. It may help you. It may save your life.
What if somebody wants to say it on the website right now?
So it's gonna be shot live also. So Archie Williams and Community with Solutions is gonna be shooting it live. So like this the important thing is that awareness. Put the information out there, and that's what Archie Williams is charged to do.
And Archie, on your website, you have a whole lot of information at communitywithsolutions.com.
With a petition.
And there's